If you're new here, welcome. My name's Dave, and on this channel we talk all things related to my 2022 Audi S4. Oh my god. As well as some other cars.
This lariat is very nice. Can you pop the trunk? Oh, you actually just spun out the wheels there.
If this is something that interests you, please consider subscribing. It's free, easy, it just takes one click. Now, on to the video, and I hope you enjoy. So one of the things you're going to want to do, or at least I do, every time you get in your car is obviously start it up. Enjoy the exhaust note and let the car run at higher revs. Letting the car run at higher RPMs, as you're seeing there, and hearing, allows it to get a better air to fuel mixture. Because gasoline doesn't evaporate when the engine operating temperature is low. It doesn't evaporate at a natural air temperature. So as you can see, the revs just settle because once the extra fuel that is being produced or sent into the engine is burned off, it allows the temperature of the engine to get up to operating speed. And now with most mechanical devices, like an engine, there is that ideal operating temperature range. Heat is good for a lot of things to operate naturally, much like warming up your body before you go on a run. You know, you don't want to start a run cold because you're not going to do as well as if you did some light jogging, limbering up beforehand. Same thing with a car. Now, one thing you want to do when you drive your car, the revs at a low range and the boost, non-existent, because you want the oil temperature to go up. Ideally, I want my oil temperature to be showing right there. Typically, I see a 190 to a 200 Fahrenheit engine oil temperature, and that's when you can really just start hustling the car around. By letting the car's oil get the temperature, not only are you just preserving the life of the car, you're just preserving the components in general. You're letting the car limber up and get the fluids moving that are also limbering up and getting ready for ideal operating success. And it's just a good practice to do every time you get into your car. Let the cold start and revs drop, and then warm up the oil before you start getting to some higher revs like 3,000 4,000 RPM, or into boost up in like the 4,000 to 6,000 RPM range. Now, a couple things you want to do as well to take care of your car on a day-to-day basis is you can actually check exactly what fuel you need to be putting in it. Recommends 91 minimum fuel, 91 octane. This is for the United States. That's a tip. It's right there behind the gas valve. Getting familiar with what's under the hood is also important, especially opening the engine and getting familiar with all the components, including how to change the oil and filling the oil here. Your dipstick is underneath here. But I'll do a whole video on oil changing, but it's really critical that you should change the oil every 5,000 miles based on the recommendations shown on the engine right here. I mean, look, there's a lot of philosophies that synthetic oil lasts for 10,000 miles, yada, yada, yada. I just think it's important that if you spend a lot of money on a performance car and you want it to last long and take care of it, you can spend the extra money to change the oil every 5,000 miles instead of every 10,000 miles, or even shorter intervals like 3,000 or 4,000, depending on your driving. And this goes without saying, and I'm eager to put it to test, but definitely follow the preventative maintenance, except for the oil change intervals. And one thing they don't mention is servicing the transmission. That's BS. You should service your transmission. I think it's about every 40,000 miles, whatever that is in kilometers. There's a lot of tips in the Audi manual that are important, and make sure you're following that, like spark plugs, rear differential, transmission fluid, and oil changes, air filters, cabin air filters, coolant tests, brakes, wheels, etc. All the preventative maintenance and factory recommendations, with the exception of the oil change caveats, are really important to making sure your car lives a long and healthy lifestyle. So with the Audi's engine facing transverse and the transmission sitting here, not a lot of storage space down here. Nice little tip is there's additional storage over here where I keep some of my money and coins and gum, just to keep it out of the way, so I can put more stuff in the center console. It's just very helpful. Hard to notice the first time when you get in the car. One of the issues I've had with Apple Carplay is figuring out how to connect between devices with the wireless, but it's actually really simple. You just go to your settings. So right now, it's actually on my Apple Carplay. But if you go back to home and settings, like what if I want to connect to Nicole and play her music? So I go to connected devices, smartphone interface, and then I click on that one, which is Nicole's. It's going to disconnect mine. And then that's Nicole's. Oh, don't play for me. And this is Nicole's. See, because she uses Amazon Music. Another helpful tip with your Audi is getting an OBD Scan Tool, onboard diagnostic tool. So here's mine. It's from OBD 11, and I'll show you where to plug it in. And this works in conjunction with an app on my phone. So see, it says first plug in device to the vehicle OBD port and press connect. So let's check it out. So looking at the car. If you go underneath here, there it is. It's that pink plug-in right there. So we'll take this guy, unblock the light, and we'll plug him in. Let me get that red light. You see that? Very good. So finally connected. Go over to vehicle, look through all the control units, and this is where you can kind of do like some line by line coding. So these are the various control units of your car. It's pretty cool to see like all the different modules that go into controlling a car and making it work. So in terms of changing the adaptive cruise control in that previous video I did, where I was able to keep the lane centering more active instead of just only warning me, I had to go to driver assistance, and I'll post the long coding, but the only change I had to do was under adaptations of control module A5 for driver assistance and go to intervention moment. So originally this was set to selection via menu, but it wasn't showing up. If I go here, it wasn't showing up there. So here I was able to just set it to early, so it automatically did it inherently. Previously it was acting like it was late, so it wouldn't really provide any steering input. It would just push me back in once I hit the line. And it only took that one change. So I selected that and I hit slide to right. It's very cool.